So according to Sony Alpha Rumors, the most accurate rumor site to ever have been conceived, he gets his rumors by going out after midnight and looking for roadkill, and then when he finds one, he steps on its stomach, and then the sound it makes is like flippy screen. Sony A7S III is gonna have a flippy screen confirmed. That's how he does it, and it works every time. Never fails. So I trust him. And he said the Sony A7S III is gonna have a flippy screen, but will it have the ultimate fault that will make me karate?
All I want is the perfect camera. All I want is the perfect camera.
So we're on the little Olympus. Oh my God. Walk like a giraffe, why don't you? We're on the little Olympus EM1 III with the Laowa 7.5mm Tony 2, of course. At Tony 2. Just to prove a point, because we're talking about some stuff today, and is this really all that distracting, stabilization-wise? So on paper, the Sony A7S III is sounding like the perfect camera, just like the Canon R5 and R6 did. But then we always, every single time, there's deal-breaking faults. It sounds like Sony's actually listening. We get our flippy screen. It might even be a new kind, the Fuji X-T100 or A99. That's a lie, but it could be. 10-bit, 240p, 4K, whatever you want. RAW, if you want to hook up a little loser screen. They have amazing lenses. If I wanted a studio lens, I'd probably get the 35 1.8. And if I wanted to vlog, I would debate between the Tamron 20mm 2.8 or just go way overboard in the Sony GM 24mm 1.4 for stupidness. That would be a fun debate, but they got it. Oh, the glorious landscape. How is it possible? Can you see any of it at Tony 2? What if I just Tony 2.8 it? We're on a GoPro now. So it sounds like Sony's the perfect system to buy into. They have all the lenses, they have the best autofocus. Maybe Canon has surpassed them now, we'll have to see. Decent color science if they've improved it like they have in the ZV-1. Why are they doing that right now? I don't know why I film on this street with that damn streetcar every 4 seconds. How many of them are there? Oh, go home. But I'd be lying. Oh, there's trucks too. That's cool. I'm a little worried though. That mount that Sony has is very limiting for the IBIS. I don't know for sure that that's how it works, but when I see pictures of that IBIS, the mount is covering the corners of the sensor. Like, how much could it possibly move? Not much. So I think that's why Sony has the worst stabilization in the game, but their APS-C sensor's small. It could move a lot, but it doesn't. Maybe Sony just sucks at it, and they'll never be good. Olympus has the best IBIS in the game, except when you're using this lens. We'll see if it's performing, but I wanted to see opposite land, Olympus sucking at IBIS, just to make Sony feel better about themselves. I'll be honest with you, the Sony A7S III seems more like a studio camera with absolutely unnecessary frills that I'll never need, but it'd be cool if it was an outdoor camera with good IBIS, and that's where I think Sony's gonna die on the fire. I've seen Sony videos that look somewhat respectable when you're just standing here, and theoretically this is what we should be doing. Pick a spot, a nice looking spot with a pole, with a hydro pole, with electricity. God, I had one shot, I didn't even look at the screen. I have the flippy screen, I don't deserve it. I don't deserve it. But you pick your shot with the tree lining the border of the screen, leading into a field of children's playing and laughter, and hope that we'll survive. We'll survive together. This is what vlogging probably should be. You walk to a spot and then you change, you talk a little shit for a little, and then you move on to your next spot. You lean on it. Ah, that's sharp. That is sharp bark. For me personally, I like vlogging on the way somewhere. I'm going somewhere, I have a video topic in mind. It's like, okay, let's talk about this. And then I'm going somewhere in the background's changing. I'm looking for things to make fun of along the way to separate and waste time. Just little funny breaks from the video, deviating from the main topic to have a laugh, and then we get back to it eventually. Sometimes. It's good times. So in order to deal with that walk, you need some good IBIS or lens stability and a little digital. And I worry about Sony. They're not going to improve the IBIS. That's their one Achilles heel. They're going to say they improved it, just like they did on the A9 II. They're like, we improved it. It did nothing. Got worse. I think they might have even had a boardroom meeting about it to brag about how bad they can make it. Alright fellas, the A7S III is ready. Finally, it's perfected in every way, except one of course, because that's the rule of the covenant. Camera companies have to obey to this rule. You cripple one feature, and then every other camera company cripples a different feature, and that's how we make love. Boss, let's break the covenant. We can do it. We can be the first camera company to stand up to the reptilians. We will not be bossed around. Let's put in the good IBIS, good autofocus, everything. Come on. You're noble and brave, James, but those reptilians will claw you apart and eat you for dinner. We can't do it. Pick the feature we cripple, and pick it now. It could have been the perfect camera. Oh God, why are you making me do this? Alright, we picked the IBIS. I'll destroy it tonight. How will you destroy it though? It's somewhat usable handheld, so we have to make sure that's not possible. Well, thankfully we started off with a tiny mount, so even if I did want to make it good, theoretically impossible. But I will tell you this, I've developed a new algorithm. Jerky to the side, wavy to the front, no digital. It's a start, but what about people on tripods? It's going to be way too stable. Do you have anything in mind for them? Sir, we talked about this. The anti-tripod mode's unethical. It's unethical. I won't do it. You'll do it, James, or you'll never work in this industry again. You'll be remembered for the coward. Going against the reptilians, you want to be known for that. They will eat you and your babies. Let them come. I will stand and fight. Won't you fight with me? For the tripoders? They take landscape photos and then they stack and cheat in Photoshop to make it look like they got a really nice image when it's lies and deceit. And then you go to that same spot, you take the photo and you're like, what the hell happened? What did he do? He cheated. But still, we must defend them. We must do what's right. You're definitely fired, James, but you'll be remembered as one of the humans that stood and fought against the reptilians. He was killed in battle pretty quickly. You'll be remembered. So it seems like there's a little battle between the Sony A7S III and the twin Canons. I was looking at the R6 specs. Even their crappy 4K mode, I think, is 120 megabits per second. So I think that one won't overheat and it'll still look pretty decent. Don't quote me on that. It might be line skipping hell. It usually is, but it's probably overblown. All this stuff. Like, I made fun of the Canon EOS R for a long time and it looks better than I need. The thing I don't love about that whole system though, the Canon RF lenses breathe a lot. So do the Fuji. Maybe most lenses do that. It's really distracting though. I noticed a couple times when the RF 35 would focus on me, it'd be jumpy. It's like, whoa, that's like a noticeable. You don't want to notice your autofocus system. And I think Sony's much smoother. I don't know if their 35 1.8 is smooth. That 28.2, that's not the 28mm Tony 2. That's a sleeper lens. I don't know if the Tony is pleasing or busy. You don't want to see a busy Tony at work. He gets a lot done, too much done. Oh God. The whole search is a lie though. Every time like the Nikon Z50, I could totally use that thing. But even though it was pretty much perfect, doing everything I needed it to, I'm nitpicking. I'm like, the screen, I can't get the battery door out, it hurts. It's not 240 frames per second slow-mo. I'm always gonna look for some unreasonable feature to why your camera isn't perfect, so I'm impossible to please. Every camera company has its faults though. Olympus is exposure usually. They're just a little too dark often, at least in the screen. Then I get it back and it looks okay, and then when I do go in sunlight, it gets a little bright, although there's no sun, it's all clouds. I should have brought the Fuji out. It would have stood a chance today. We haven't had a cloudy day on the Fuji. Oh, poor little Fuji. But the Sony sounds so good, at least on paper, at least from the roadkill sounds that are coming out. Sounds like that's the one. The giant pixels, really good 4K, Just 1-to-1 sample. None of this over-sampled, over-sharpened, show every pore in my face bullshit. Go film yourself on the A7R IV and watch a zit form before your eyes. But Sony's Achilles heel has always been their IBIS, and I just don't see a solution for it unless it's digital. As long as it's not too big of a crop. 1.1 max, 1.15 max. This is 1.187 in their digital. That's a bit much. That's like twice as much as the Fuji crop, although it behaves twice as well. So there's that. Was this distractingly warpy today? If you don't know what you're looking for, and you're just focusing on this, you look at the background sometimes, it's not bad. But this would solve the fisheye bending. I just notice it too much. The horizon goes like down and up, and it's weird. He was running that way. She? I just stopped down to Tony 4. Is it super sharp now and more enjoyable? You know what's funny? I use these manual focus lenses and I stop them down to 0.95 or 1.4 and I'm not in focus. And you just look so stupid when you're out of focus. It's not worth it. Stop it down a little bit, you have a small chance of being in focus with your manual focus lens. Why do I keep doing it to myself? So when more specs are revealed from the roadkill steppings, we'll talk about it. And I have some Fuji lenses on their way. I bought one, and I might be testing 3 potentially. So that should be exciting. And Sony, I love you. Make a good camera. Fix your IBIS, add digital, and then everything you're doing, just do it. You're doing good stuff. That or Nikon. I will switch to Nikon so hard. I hope something happens with the flippy screen in that city. We need you, Nikon. Canon, Nikon, and Sony. And Fuji, for some reason, I can't get out of my mind. I just brought this with me to say, no. It's like a cold turkey quitting. Just go to the Olympus. Try it. I can't. I love you, Fuji. Take me back. All right, we're done. What do you think? Sony A7S III? Perfect camera? Terrible in every way. IBIS crippled. Autofocus ruined somehow. It's impossible. Be real with yourself. All right, we're done. Subscribe for more videos, and I'll see you in the next one.